So I want to go deeper into this topic of trust and surrender, particularly in regards to this V scene that's going around. So a lot of people don't want to receive this shot because it's new technology, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable with what's going to happen with putting mRNA in their body, right? There's a lot of unknowns. So there's that end of things. You have that choice, right, to whether to take that or not to take it, and it's totally a personal choice. The second layer that's coming up here is that there's a lot of reports going around that people who have not had this shot are having strange physiological effects from being around people who have had the shot, and specifically those effects are like very, very heavy periods, very painful periods, longer disruptions in the menstrual cycle. So I'm not here in any way, shape, or form to debate, whether those reports are true or false or what's going on, but certainly a woman's menstrual cycle is very sensitive, and it is a form of detox. And so some people are saying, don't go around people who have had this shot, because you could be there may be something shedding off the body that you may be getting exposed to that's creating some need for the body to detox or some hormonal disruption, right? So what this does is it creates another level of fear. And so we're always working through trying to move out of fear, very low vibration emotion, right, and move into the higher levels of consciousness. And so when there's all this fear, right, first we had fear about the virus, then we have fear about the V scene, then we have fear about being around people who've had the V scene, right? So you see how there's just this cycle of fear. And part of what we have to come back to is trusting that if illness as small as a cold or a UTI, or illness as grand as fibromyalgia or Lyme disease or cancer, if those experiences are meant to be a part of our reality, if there is a point of learning that we must go through a physical illness in order to garner the lessons, in order to elevate our consciousness, in order to create more spiritual awakening, in order for there to be more expansion, we have to go through those life lessons. That's what I call a soul contract. Those are things in your life that you really can't avoid. There's nothing you could do. There's no way you could control having or not having that experience, because it's a part of your soul contract. And so it takes some of the fear out of things, right? So you don't want to be reckless, right? Like, you don't get in your car and not wear your seatbelt and drive 100 miles an hour the wrong way down the highway, right? That doesn't make sense. But you do every day take the risk of getting into your car and driving it at high speeds. Even at 30 miles per hour is enough to kill someone, right? You make a conscious choice to do that every day. So every single day we are taking risks. Every single day we are exposed to toxic chemicals, to high-speed vehicles, to potentially violent people out there in the world. We are exposed to, like any number of things that are completely out of our control, right? We could get hit by a bus. We could have an aneurysm and drop dead. We could, any number of things could happen any day of the week. And so the thing is to not let all of these things that could go wrong live in your head and take over. You want to make good choices, like wearing your seatbelt and eating organic fruits and vegetables and choosing a home that's in a safe environment, right? We don't need to be reckless, but in the same sense, we also need to have a lot of faith and trust that if there are certain experiences in our life that we need to have, those are going to come our way, and we have no control over that. And that having these negative or painful experiences in our life are not bad things. They are things that are teaching us. They're helping us grow. They're expanding our consciousness, right? It's why we came to planet Earth, which is violent. It is crazy. It is unpredictable. It is emotional. There is loss. There is pain. There's trauma. There's a lot of suffering on this earth plane. So we didn't choose to come to a place that was all warm and fuzzy and that was pure love and light, right? We chose here to learn serious lessons about polarity, about darkness and light, about pain and suffering versus love and joy. And so I just want to remind you guys to like let go of the fear. This plays on the last video I just did. And let go of the idea that you have that much control. Make good choices, but don't allow the fear to start running your life and saying, now I can't go to the grocery store because people had this VC, and now I can't see my loved ones again, right? It's another form of lockdown. So you have to ask yourself, how much lockdown do you need to face your own fears, to face your own shadow, to start to work with healing yourself, to start to work with recognizing when you're in those low vibrational 3D emotions of fear and scarcity and lack and suffering? How much separation from your fellow humans do you need to really start to understand fear and to really start to understand your own need to try and control? So make the choices that are right for you, but continuing to separate ourselves from people and hide away and stay small and stay restricted is not necessarily the solution. You know, if you have really fragile health, you have to make different decisions. But if you've been on a healing path for a long time, if you have a strong immune system, you know, if you are really aligned, if you are following your intuition, you have to know that you are divinely supported. You have to know that you can trust your higher power and that whatever is coming down the pipeline for you is exactly what you signed up for. It's exactly what you need. And the way you move through these challenging experiences is through expanding your consciousness, and it's through acceptance and trust, and it's through choosing your thoughts. It's through working with the ego. It's through working with the shadow. So whatever comes your way, you can handle. You're never given anything that's more than you can handle. And so again, coming back to this space of like, there's constantly going to be fear thrown at you, constantly. You could choose fear every single day, every single second. Is my water clean enough? Am I getting too much radiation right now? I got my laptop and my phone here, and my wireless router's on in the other room. Is my car safe enough? You know, you can choose fear anytime you want to. Every time you walk out of your house, you are exposed to pathogens. There are pathogens everywhere all the time. There's staph and strep and salmonella everywhere all the time. You could become ill at any moment. And so I think it really comes back to this space of knowing that if you are in alignment, if you are following your intuition, you will be given a set of circumstances precisely that you need. And whether you stay and hide in your house, you will be given those circumstances. Whether you go out into the world and you live your life and you connect with people and you are in joy, you will be given the same circumstances. There's no mistakes. Nothing happens by accident. So don't buy into the fear and don't get caught shutting down, being smaller, disconnecting, hiding out more and more and more. You know, make the choices that are right for you, but make them from a place of trust and surrender and real connection to the divine. You know, so there's no right or wrong answer to any of these questions, but there is the question of asking yourself, am I choosing fear or am I choosing trust and surrender? That's the question to continuously ask yourself.